today's meeting of the Nevada Department of Transportation Board of Directors to order for April 11th, 2022. Could I ask the clerk to take the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Good morning. Governor Steve Sisolak.
Here.
Lieutenant Governor Lisa Cano-Burkhead.
Here.
Controller Catherine Byrne.
Here.
Member Justin Cow.
Here.
Member Virginia Valentine.
Here.
And member Stephen Esquaga.
Here.
Governor, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to item number 2, public comment. This is the first time set aside for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board with any item on today's agenda. Items are either on the agenda. Please step forward, identify yourself for the record, and comments will be limited to 3 minutes. I'll start in Carson City. Do we have anyone in Carson City?
Good morning, Governor. We have no one registered for public comment in Carson City. Is anyone approaching the podium?
Approaching podium? Okay. Do we have anyone in Las Vegas for public comment?
No one registered for public comment, and I don't see anyone approaching the podium.
Great. Do we have any written or telephonic public comment?
Governor, we received no written
Okay.
comment.
I will close item number 2 and move on to number 3, the director's report. Director Swallow.
Good morning, members of the board. It's good to see all of you. Let me get into this. As I do every month, I'm going to start with safety. And I'm going to say for the first quarter, we're down compared to last year first quarter by 14%, which is fabulous. It's good to see every county in the state except for Clark saw the rate of fatalities decline year over year during the first quarter. As I mentioned, Clark was an exception with a 23% increase, but I think that makes it even more remarkable that with that 23% increase in Clark, the rest of the state has done so much better. Fatality rates for specific types did increase in the same period. However, rates of pedestrian fatalities are up 20% with 100% jumps in Churchill and Washoe County. Motorcyclist deaths dipped slightly, and bicyclist fatalities climbed 50% from March of 2021. Again, speeding tends to be a leading cause of crashes. In the past, I've talked about a specific crash or perhaps a specific crash or two, and in fact, I have notes about 2 crashes that happened in Southern Nevada last month. But I wanted to get focused more on talking about what we are doing. So not just that, people are dying on the roads, which is terrible, but what we at NDOT are doing to address this and to hopefully try to change that curve down and keep the curve the way it's going so far this year. So one project that's actually included in this month's packet, but you won't be voting on it. I approved it under delegated authority earlier in early March. It's actually going to start later this spring, early summer, and be completed before the next school year. So I'm very excited about this project. It provides a safe route to school and to a community center in Wadsworth, Nevada for the Pyramid Lake Paiute tribe. It includes a 10-foot shared use path, new ADA ramps, an upgraded school speed zone, and upgraded crossings along the corridor. And so I think I'm going to try to focus on what we're doing so that because I always say that every person matters and every person does, and we all have responsibility. But what's important in improving safety is that every project we do can improve the outcomes if we really focus on all users. And we're doing that out in Wadsworth for the Pyramid Lake Paiute tribe. So, all right. A quick update on the advisory working group. As you remember, the group actually met before our meeting in March. And so I gave you a brief update. Our next meeting is actually tomorrow. It's in person in Reno. On our last meeting, we narrowed down to 6 criteria, or 6, I should say, mechanisms that the group generally felt would be the best to look further into for near-term, long-term, and flexible funding solutions for the department. What we're going to be talking about tomorrow, I should say, is we're going to be looking at the financial, so the costs of what the collection would be, because all of these have different collection costs. We're also going to be looking at how much each of the mechanisms might be able to raise at given rates. There's been no real discussion about rates. There's been sample rates shown, but really start looking at the rates. And then we're also going to look at the policy piece. How well do these mechanisms rank against the guiding principles of the AWG established by at the AB 413? So this next meeting, we likely will have a June meeting and maybe one more in the fall to really narrow down those recommendations. We remain on schedule to deliver the report to the legislature by the end of the year. And we are hopeful that we'll be able to have some good suggestions on how to really ensure that we have the funding needed to keep our system as in the condition it is, and in fact, actually improve it in many cases. So we're excited about that. This week is National Work Zone Awareness Week. It has a really weird acronym, and so you might see like a hashtag NWZAW, not easy, National Work Zone Awareness Week. It's an annual campaign held at the start of construction season to encourage safe driving through road work zones. With as many projects as we have, we always are working with our partners to help remind motorists to drive safely through the work zones. And just to use extra caution, there are people outside of those work zones, in those work zones. They want to go home to their families every night, just like you in the car want to go home. It's amazing the crashes we sometimes see at the tail end of our work zones where we're slowing, and just really everybody be aware when they're driving on the roads. And it's important to make sure that our NDOT team and our broader team, our contractors, their team members all get home every single night. We invite the board and the public to join us in the week-long commemoration, including wearing orange on Wednesday for Go Orange Day. I'm looking forward to seeing your guys' tweets in orange. If you need a hard hat or something, let me know. We're happy to get you some. All right, contributing to the workforce, as I do every month, I wanted to give you an update as to where we are. So through March, there were 7388 job years supported through the program that you've approved from October to March. On this agenda, there's another 164. So everything goes well today. 7552 job years will be supported for in Nevada from our program. Just a note, there was a question, and so I just wanted to let you know on this agenda, 124 of those 124 are in District 1 in Southern Nevada, and 32 are up in Northwestern Nevada. There's none in District 3 this month. And then the last thing that I just wanted to do was welcome Nelson ARAUJO. Governor, thank you for appointing him as the State Infrastructure Advisor. We really look forward to working with him on the implementation of IIJA, helping him help us make sure that we're using those funds best possible, leveraging them as much as we can to make sure that our system remains safe and connected. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Director. I appreciate it. And we also want to welcome Nelson. He started 37 minutes ago in Southern Nevada, and we look forward to him working with you to leverage every single federal dollar we can get for infrastructure and transportation and roadways. Do we have any questions on the Director's report from the board? Any in Southern Nevada?
No questions, Governor.
Thank you very much. Okay, then we will move on to item number 2, section 2, the consent agenda, which will include items number 4 through 9, taken with one motion. Do we have any questions from any board member on the consent agenda? And again, I want to thank Director Swallow and her team for the briefing that I know they give to me every month and they give to the entire board so that we can eliminate a lot of the questions when we get to the meeting. We appreciate that. Are there any questions regarding the consent agenda? Okay. Do I have a motion on the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
We have a motion for approval. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda items, which are number 4 through 9. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion passes. Move on to item number 10, which are items taken separately from the consent agenda.
Governor, item number 10 is a disposal of a vacant parcel along the west side of US 395A between Serviceberry Lane and Franktown. We're looking to dispose as per NRS.
I don't know if, I think everybody's been here when we had disposal of parcels. Are there any questions on this item number 10? We have a motion on item number 10.
I'll motion to approve the disposal per our NRS.
We have a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion? Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 11 and 12 are discussion items. Information only. Go ahead.
Members of the board, 11 and 12 are information item only. Unless you have any questions, we can move on to item 13. In future months, we'll put those information items in the consent agenda.
Do we have any questions on these two information items? There are also 2 disposals. Okay, we do not have an executive session, correct?
Correct.
Moving on to item number 14, public comment. This is the second time set aside for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board on any matter under our purview, please step forward, identify yourself for the record, and comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Once again, I'll start in Carson City. Do we have anybody in Carson City?
We have no one registered in Carson City for
All
public
these
comment.
people here, nobody wants to get up and talk? Weather house. Any of those out there, anything? Okay, do we have anybody in Las Vegas for public comment?
No one's approaching, Governor.
Okay, do we have anyone on the phone or in writing?
We have no comments in writing.
This is going to be an all-time record. That being said, do we have any comments from any board members? Okay, 10 minutes in. We are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
You were talking about.